welcome to day 20 of Vlogmas 2019. I cannot believe it. We're almost near the end of Vlogmas. But this is a video I've been wanting to do all along, and I had a friend that was going to film it for me, and then it just didn't work out. So I'm going to try and do it without anyone helping me. But it is the proper use and placement of a halter. Sorry, I had it all wadded up with the halter. Okay, so I have my model here. This is Ever Ready. And he doesn't know what's going on. He thinks something bad is happening. I took him away from his alfalfa over there. I was like, you're going to be my bottle today. Okay, so a little information about halters. I will put a link down in the description about the halters that I get. What brand are they? Sopris, S-O-P-R-I-S. There's a number of different models available out there for alpacas. First of all, you want to get alpaca specific halters. Of course, they fit their face just right because they're designed for their face. The Sopris ones you can get them in different colors. They come in different sizes as well. There's a description on their website as to what size fit what animal typically. And so what I did is each size I have a number of sizes, but each size is a different color. This size here is a 3, I want to say. Oh, I've had this so long. Can I even read the label anymore? I'm guessing a 3. I can't tell for sure. I've had these so many years. So all of my 3s are green. I have some that are red. I have some that are black. I have the bigger ones for llamas that are silver or gold. But yeah, each size is a different color so that when they're hanging up on the wall or in a bag or like however you store them, you know by the color which one you need to grab, and you don't have to be looking at the labels. And for me, this size fits most of my animals. It's for an adult alpaca, so this is what I use the most. The size above this is a 4. I have that in black, and so that I would use for some of my boys with a bigger size face. I sure hope Ever Ready is not one of those guys. I just thought about that, but I think he can wear the green. Okay, so like I said, I'll put a link to that down in the description box. Okay, so let's get to actually how to place this on them, and I'm hoping that I get this filmed well. I chose Ever Ready because he's white, and I thought since it's dark out now and the lighting's not too great, I thought it would be best way to display this. So they say don't put the lead around your neck when you're not using it. I forget exactly why. Like, well, there must be a reason. So I'm just going to set it over here on the side of the stall, and you want to start off with just the halter. I mean, you can have the lead on there, but I don't know. It's kind of a preference thing. Okay, so the buckle is always on the same side. It's always going to be on the left side of their face. And then there's going to be a ring that goes underneath their chin. So you want to kind of know that you have it not all like twisted up, and so like you're ready to actually position it. All right, so Ever Ready? Oh, come here, bud. Come on over here. Oh, come here. Say hi to our peoples. Hello. All right, so here's what you want to do. You don't want this to be a surprise. You want them to see that it's coming. So you put it in front of their face so they see it and they know what's about to happen. You place it over their nose, and this strap goes around the back of their head underneath the ears. He's such a great model. Oh my goodness. And then we'll buckle it here on the side. When you position it, number 1, this needs to be all the way up on their nose. The bone only goes about halfway down the nose, and then it's cartilage. If this is resting down here, it'll press down on that cartilage and block off the air supply. Make sure this is all the way up to the top. When you're sizing your halter, you don't want this to interfere with their eyes in any kind of way. When you're doing the strap around the neck, Make sure it fits their head and not the fiber on their head. With the wakaya especially, they're so fluffy, right? Don't fit it to the fiber. Make sure that when you tighten it, it fits the head. If it's too loose, then this is gonna fall forward and then we have that air supply issue again, okay? So you wanna tighten it to where you can get like 2 fingers in. It's a good, you don't want it too tight. Of course, you don't want it too loose. Find that happy medium. Buckle it here. And there he is. We see we have the ring on the bottom. That is where the lead gets attached. And he's good to go. Fits very nicely on him, doesn't it? I'm so pleased with you, Everready. All right, now when you are walking alpacas, you don't need to keep a tight pull on the lead. They actually do better just freely walking. They will fight against you if you're constantly pulling. As long as they're walking, just keep this loose. Obviously, you are in charge, right? I've seen people, especially with animals that are not used to walking on a halter, they're still in training, and they pull and pull and pull on the lead. Well, the animal's pulling back. But you know what? When they do something well for you, you reward them by loosening that lead. Then they know, they do better with reward than punishment. All right, so I always have a hand up close to the head and my other hand more towards the end of the lead. And give a little tug. We don't have much space to walk around here, but this is loose and he's just walking. And he would walk very well next to me if that is what we were doing. Okay, Everready, this is so awesome of you. You did such a good job. Yeah, we'll take that off. Okay. So guess what? I thought it kept recording and it didn't. After I moved the camera off of the tripod from when I was filming with Everready, it somehow stopped recording and I didn't notice. So everything else that I said apparently was just for myself, but I did have one other thing that I wanted to cover when it comes to halters. And this is actually, it's a big concern for me, and I would even call it a pet peeve. And that is leaving halters on all the time. They're not meant to be left on the face all the time. They're only meant to use them when needed. When you're needing to walk them or move them or something. I mean, there has to be a reason for it. They're not meant to stay on the face all the time. And it's harmful. It's actually very harmful when you do. So for a number of reasons. Number one, it's restraining their ability to yawn. And here's a clip from the other day of Blessing yawning. That's a natural function. And when they have the halter on, they can't do that. And I've seen animals that wear halter for long periods of time and then they come off, like months at a time. Then they come off, they've learned to not yawn. Even though they have the ability to do it, they don't because they've learned to just not. Can you imagine if you were not able to yawn? Like that actually serves a function and a purpose in your body. And you've taken that away from them when you leave the halter on for long periods of time. The other thing is having that, it's usually nylon that it's made of, right? So having that on their skin all the time, it's going to rub away fiber and that's not going to grow back. It's not going to grow back, certainly for the period of time that the halter's still on there because the abrasion of it just, it's just going to not grow. So you're leaving that skin vulnerable to extreme temperatures. Speaking of which, parts of the halter are metal. Now on mine, I think the only piece of metal is the ring underneath and the buckle, but there are some models, some types of halters that have more buckles and more metal things on them. for different purposes. So imagine in extreme cold and extreme heat, having that metal up against your skin. And what it comes down to is leaving that on your animal all the time is cruel. It's not the intention. And if you can't handle your animal unless they have a halter on, then that's your problem, not theirs. If you're not willing to learn how to handle your animal without a halter on, then you shouldn't have them. Take the time to handle them, to be able to catch them and handle them without a halter. There are times for a halter, but that's far less than anything else. So please be responsible with the halter and don't be cruel. In my book, leaving a halter on all the time is cruelty. Beyond that, it's abuse. I consider it animal abuse if you leave it on all the time. Early on in my alpaca life, I sold a pair of girls to someone who was new to alpacas. Every time I see pictures of them, they have halters on. And it's different circumstances. Sometimes they're just in their pen. Sometimes they're, with other animals. They have halters on. And I have kindly said time and time again, they shouldn't have the halters on all the time. I have another friend who had a llama, and he said, oh, it's easier to catch him by the halter than by the neck, which is how I usually catch my animals. Okay, if you're not willing to learn how to catch them any other way besides a halter, you should not own them. That's the bottom line. Don't abuse your animals by leaving the halter on all the time. I'll say it again, that's not the intention, and to do so is cruel, and it is abuse, so please don't do it. Those are my thoughts about all that, and thanks for joining me on this video. I'll see you tomorrow.